Hello everyone, this is Garrett and this is Gunman Clive for the PC because I've been playing this for the last few days because it's pretty cool. I'm just gonna get started right away so you can see what it is. I've already beaten it, so you can choose a stage, but we're just gonna start on level 1, where we can see the amazing story of random woman getting kidnapped by a horse person. And Clive chasing him and coming to the rescue in this little 2D platformer which has an interesting art style and awesome music, and I quite like it. And you can shoot people with the guns and it is quite good. You can play with either a gamepad or a keyboard, and it's currently like £1.5 on Gamersgate, so I would definitely actually recommend playing this if you're into these kinds of games. But yeah, it's actually really good and I quite like it. So I'm just gonna play through the game, make my way through the fearsome ducks and evil blue people. Basically, everyone who's blue or moving is generally an enemy. And this gun here is a little upgrade thing. It has a very wide nozzle, so basically it's a spread gun. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the upgrades in this game, but once you play it a few times, you actually, it's pretty easy to see, sort of. Although I still get confused sometimes between the different weapons, because there's like 5 different weapons that you can get in this game, and they're all quite different. But once you get hit, you will actually lose your upgrade, so that's kind of sad. Also, cake heals you. You have entire cakes which heal you fully, and small pieces of cake which heal you for a slight bit. Watch out for that dog, it's quite vicious, but all the enemies do the same amount of damage in this game. And you have infinite lives, so you don't really need to worry about anything, but it's still kind of tricky here and there. Definitely when you're playing it for the first time. But just run to the right and you will make it through the level. And that, I believe, was stage 1. Now watch out for the people underground who are hiding here. This game actually sort of reminds me of, like, every other platformer I've played, but just kind of combined into one. Because there's a whole bunch of interesting elements in this game, which I quite like. And, yeah, I'm just gonna praise everything about this game. Like that guy throwing grenades at me, and the chandeliers going up and down. How many games do you have where you can go up and down a chandelier? Exactly. None! This is the first game. Well, probably not, but still, it's good. And there's a duck. How many games can you ride a chandelier and shoot a duck at the same time? Yes. Oh god, I got hit. And we are back to our default gun. This one might actually be slightly better than the spread shot thing here and there, because one major difference between the spread shot and the normal gun is that this one you can just have a whole bunch, like 3 shots on screen at a time. And here you can only shoot twice before you kind of have to reload, sort of. And as such, you can't really spam the weapon, and considering there's going to be bosses which have quite a large amount of health, you do kind of maybe not want this gun as much. But there is also something else about this game, that if you hit an enemy, they won't be invulnerable for a small period of time. You can just shoot them again instantly. Also, watch out for the pelicans that shoot grenades. Yes, pelicans that shoot grenades. And stand on the right of this platform to go right and left and blah, blah, blah. It all makes sense, really. But yeah, just weapon choice is kind of interesting. Generally speaking, though, I would actually just suggest using the spread gun for everything. But there are also other guns like this one, which kind of has homing shots, which is quite good as well. Because it basically deals the same amount of damage as the normal gun. And I think you can actually spam it like the normal gun as well if you're standing close to an enemy, so that's kind of convenient as well. So in a sense, this one might be a little bit better. But at other times, it's actually kind of inconvenient when it homes towards the wrong enemy, but that usually doesn't happen too much, fortunately. But make your way through the stage, kill everyone. Do not fall in pits because you'll die, and when you die, you'll just get sent back to a checkpoint, basically. And most levels don't really have that many checkpoints, like 1 or 2 at most. But, yeah, just try not to die. It's kind of annoying. It happens, as you can probably imagine. But jump to the end here, and we are past this stage. It has 20 stages. The game is not extremely long, but considering the price and how awesome this game is, basically, I'm absolutely not disappointed at all. Also bunnies. Death bunnies. Murderous, evil bunnies of death that try to murder you in horrifying, jumping ways. I love this game. I don't know why. I think it's the art style, really. The art style is really appealing, in my opinion. Also, new mechanic. It has thingies with arrows pointing down, and they fall down. Like those blocks in Mario, which everyone hated. They are back in this game, too, but fortunately, you can just run right and avoid them pretty easily. So many things. I don't know why. Every single aspect of this game reminds me of a different game, usually. Like, that kind of reminds me of Super Mario World with those fuzzies kind of spinning around in circles, a whole bunch of them. I don't know. I just like it, I guess. I just like good things about games. And we make our way to the first boss. I'm actually not going to get the spread gun just yet unless I accidentally pick it up. But it's Elvis with a minigun. Basically, he has several attacks. One is when he sits down like this. When he sits down, you basically have to jump because he'll start shooting you. He has this attack, which is not really much to worry about as long as you know how to move. And he actually has a different attack as well, but you can pretty much... Oh, God, he's shot again. But you can pretty much avoid it entirely when you're ducking, but it seems like he's not really interested. Oh, there we go. That attack. And if you duck, you can just shoot him a whole bunch of times and deal a whole bunch of damage, and yeah, there you go. This boss is not too difficult, definitely not the hardest boss in the game. Although, to be honest, most of the bosses aren't that difficult once you know how to do them. But that whole finding out how to do it thing is kind of the interesting part, isn't it? Because there was one boss in particular which is actually really annoying until you find out how to do it, and then he's really easy. But we are not there yet. We will get to that point when we get there. We'll just make our way through the deserts of awesome Musictonia. I'm pretty sure that's the name of this desert. Watch out for the bridge. It is broken. An interesting thing about these bridges is that they can actually be broken by explosives, and that actually includes the pelican shot things and grenades thrown by enemies as well. So you kind of have to look out for that, because you can actually destroy the bridge up to such a point that you cannot cross it anymore, and then you'll have to die on purpose to get further. Hasn't actually happened to me yet, but it can happen. So there you go. And these horses actually jump over you when you just stand still, so that's one way to get rid of them. But if you have the spread shot, you can just shoot them twice and they'll just die instantly, which is good. But let's go into Johnson's coal mine, where we go into Donkey Kong territory, because we have a little mine cart ride. And Donkey Kong is the only game that came to mind, except maybe Kirby Superstar, but there you go. And an interesting thing about this coal mine thing is that you can look left and right, which... I don't know why, but I find that really interesting, because there's actually enemies coming from the left as well, so you kind of have to be careful of that. But fortunately, you can turn around in this game. Ooh. Also jump here because there's an enemy over there that you can barely see, and he will always hit you if you don't jump there, which is pretty cool. The fun and joy of this game. But yeah, this level's not too difficult. This was the entire stage, actually, and this mechanic is never going to come back again, which, it's kind of a shame. But it brings us to Mega Man territory. Watch out for that dog. Damn you, dog. You made me miss a jump. But yeah, reappearing platforms, which is always fun, except in this game you can actually see where they're going to appear, which is actually really nice. I like that, because it makes it a lot less tedious and you don't have to remember everything. And I fell down. Whoops. You can actually do this. There we go. And then we make our way forward. Definitely watch out for the people that are hidden underneath those things. Bats! Only 2 bats in the game. Also, these spikes are instant kill spikes, so don't land in them. And that also includes something that isn't for Mega Man, that if you've taken damage, you can't actually stand on the spikes. You won't have invulnerability time from that. You will just die. So don't jump on spikes ever, and you won't die. That's the strategy you kind of have to go with here. No, come on. No, that was not going to be it. Also, the game kind of has Kirby-like, I'm going to actually compare this game to every game in existence, but it has Kirby-like respawns. Like, if they're off the screen and you come back, usually they've respawned. Except if they've thrown a power-up on the floor, then they tend to not respawn, and yeah, there you go. But it's not really something you have to worry about, because usually you won't be falling backwards, because there's only a few vertical climbs in this part. Also, in here, basically stay in the middle, and if you do it right, like, unlike me, basically, if you just immediately jump for the middle, you will not actually get hit by anything, and that's kind of neat. But we make our way to the train, where pelicans are here to ruin our day, because they throw evil explosives at us. I don't even know what they're throwing, to be perfectly honest. They're just meanies. And watch out for those things coming out of the floor and sometimes from the wall as well. I think they're coming from the wall on the next screen. Yeah. They shoot in 5 directions, and they can be kind of a hassle if you get hit by them. Get the cake so we get our health back. I want more games to use cake as a healing mechanic. Hearts are so overrated. Maybe I just like cake. I'm kind of in the mood for cake now, actually. And more spread shots. There's actually 2 guns in the game which barely appear at all. One which you can only get from enemies, and is extremely rare, but also extremely overpowered. And one which you can get in 1 level, but is also kind of rare. And then there's this one, which is kind of decent, but you can only shoot 1 bullet at a slow interval, which is kind of annoying, but it deals a lot more damage than the other gun. It kills those things in 1 shot, usually requires 2 shots, which is kind of interesting. And it also deals some splash damage. You don't actually need to hit, you just kind of need to hit nearby the target you want to hit, and it'll basically get rid of them. But kill everyone in this room, the door will open, and we can move forward to the next stage. Also, something I should mention is that once you finish a stage, you'll actually get all of your health back, which is kind of interesting. So here you can choose either between the spread shot or the gun I already have, which is this one. And I'm just going to keep this gun because it's quite good. But we move our way here, and oh no, the train is coming to life. The train is going to murder us because the train is the next boss battle. This one's also kind of annoying if you don't know what to do. But the easiest way to do it is to just basically stand here and just duck whenever he tries to attack, because most of his attacks won't actually hit you if you're ducking there. Fortunately, I randomly forgot to duck, which is kind of a silly of me, but there you go. But he's pretty doable. But watch out for the fire. Yeah. I might actually just go and shoot him once he's done with his little attack here. There we go. And die! And actually, you can just continuously keep shooting him now, and he will not explode for a really long time for some reason. But if you stop shooting him, he will actually disappear. So there you go. Not really sure why that happens, but there you go. It's a possibility if you want to do that. So now we're in the woods, of course, where it kind of takes us to Mega Man 2-like territories, because I will compare this game to every game in the world. You probably want to duck on that first platform, because there's a chance that that pelican will just hit you and knock you off the platform, and that's kind of annoying. But if you duck, I haven't gotten hit since I've tried ducking, so there you go. But watch out for all the pelicans in these stages, because they are in the most awkward locations. It's really annoying sometimes. Something you will see in a second, on a second screen actually. Because not in this... Oh god, I got the bubbly weapon. The bubbly homing weapon is mine, which is actually kind of neat, because that might actually work out in my favor. In this area. Oh god. Okay, there we go. Didn't die yet. I kind of don't want to die in this playthrough because it tends to send you back quite a distance from this point, so that's kind of annoying. And it would be nice if I don't have to do that, but now that I've said that, everything's going to go wrong. So here's these jumping mushrooms, because mushrooms are made for jumping on, and they will make you go higher. And if you press the jump button just slightly after you've landed on it, you will go much higher than usual. Kind of the same like in Mario, basically, and kind of the same as in Mario as well, is that they're really awkward. They have really awkward timing for some reason. I don't know why. So watch out for the ducks that are carrying these guys, because if you shoot the duck, it'll actually drop the guy on the floor, and it'll still be able to shoot you, which is kind of bad. So look out for that and make your way upwards here. This is also one of those areas which is kind of annoying. And there's actually a weapon up here which I'm gonna get because it's ridiculously overpowered and hilarious. But now I have to wait, because this weapon, it can have an infinite amount of projectiles on the screen, basically, and it can go through walls. So, oh god, what am I doing? No! Awesome, that one's great. But it can go through walls, and this actually makes a really large difference in the next screen. It makes it a lot easier, and it is extremely powerful as well, so it just kills horribly. I just killed everyone in the screen immediately, basically. But I don't really want these. I want to keep this weapon as long as possible, but I tend to get hit on the next stage, so that's kind of a shame. But from this point on, I think they do randomly drop from enemies, but it is an extremely rare weapon, so that's kind of annoying. Another thing you need to look out for, which is I think how I lost this weapon in the first place when I played through the first time, is these platforms are little platforms that are balanced by your weight, and it's kind of bad when you don't know that the first time you play through this game, but you'll just lose your weapon, and it's kind of sad, but there you go. And another new mechanic is that you can kind of roll these boulders around. If you have trouble doing this, you can actually just push them like this, but you can't do that in the entire game, I think. So, probably best if you just practice it, but there you go. Shoot that platform over there, because otherwise it'll annoy you and get rid of your awesome weapon of awesomeness. There is one other weapon left in the game that I haven't shown off yet, but it's completely random whether or not it drops from the enemies, so that's kind of... It's going to be random whether or not I can show it off, but if I can, it would be really awesome. And I just lost my weapon to that grenade guy, which is kind of a shame, but there you go. Now, there are no checkpoints in this level, so I'm going to do this part really carefully, because I don't want to do the entire level again. But this is the end of the level, which is, yeah. Because those balls are rolling on instant death spikes, and I kind of don't want to instantly die, as you can probably imagine. Pretty sure these were in Mega Man 2 as well, but there you go. So is wind, and I guess wind is not exactly something that has copyright on it, or does it? There you go. move our way forward, and we have a little ladder. Immediately climb up because it'll start going to the right, and you just kind of have to dodge these spiky things here. Shoot to the right to kill that pelican, which will otherwise hit you and possibly land you in the spikes. It has happened to me before. Fun. I hate pelicans. This game is a game that makes you hate pelicans, of all things in the world. I guess there were just not enough games that made you hate pelicans, so they decided to make this game. So even the pelicans are the birds that people don't like anymore or something. But make your way forward. Get the cake even though you're on full health. Just get it. It's cake. Nothing wrong with cake. And immediately climb all the way up here so you don't get hit by that thing. And move on. And I think this is actually where we face kind of an annoying boss. And it's Spencer from Bionic Commando, because this boss can be really annoying if you don't know how to fight him, basically. But if you duck, you can pretty much avoid all of his attacks except for that one. Because if you just stand really close to him, he'll just not hit you ever, basically, which is kind of nice to know. Like if I... my god, if he would stop using the same bloody move over and over, that would be good. There we go. And that's a move that is pretty difficult to avoid if you don't know about the ducking thing. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're fighting him and you're having trouble with him. So, our female person is getting kidnapped by the aliens, and now Clive only knows one thing to stop them, which is jumping on top of a rocket and chasing after them. Yes, and now the game is an auto-scrolling shooter. Yes, that happened. So, this level is pretty doable. It is definitely not a hard level at all, but it has my favorite enemy in the game in it, so just enjoy the background of Neptune appearing several times. It's kind of nice. And fortunately, in this game, if you hit the wall, you won't die, so anyone who's curious about that, it won't happen. Very nice auto-scroll indeed. You could just hug the wall like this, and no one will really mind. I think you can actually get squished between the wall and just the wall moving behind you. I guess you just die from that, but this is just my favorite enemy in the game. It's just... I love it. I don't know. I have no words for it. It's just amazing on its own right. More games should have that. I think an actual, like, a serious space shooter should have that in its game. That would make the game a million times better already. Unfortunately, the power-ups actually just float into space rather than falling down. Because on this level they do fall down, which is kind of annoying. Also, something to look out for is these boulders falling from the sky, but fortunately they only appear in this first area over here, so once you're past this, you don't really need to worry about them anymore, but they can lead to kind of awkward situations. Leave me alone, boulders, I wish to leave. Ah! That guy... Sometimes an enemy from the previous screen will still make it onto the next one, but more often than not, they won't, so... This is kind of a scary area, because if you get hit, you're likely to fall all the way down, and that's kind of bad. Also, there's low gravity here, in case you haven't noticed. But we're on the moon, so, you know, Clive can breathe in space. It's a cowboy fact. Cowboys can all breathe in space. That's how they're raised. Now, look out for this guy. He's kind of going to go after you once he sees you, like, once you're on the same height as him. And he takes, like, 6 shots, so it's kind of scary. Fortunately, this is the end of the level, so we're gonna get all our health back anyway. Doesn't really matter. Best music in the game! Yes! In my opinion, at least. I love this music. I love all the music in this game, to be honest, but this is probably one of my favorite tracks. Even though the enemies, if they drop a weapon, they will completely ignore these arrows of anti-gravityness, which is kind of mean. And this jump is a lot easier than it looks, because you'll always make it if you just jump from the edge of the platform. But it's a pretty awesome mechanic, in my opinion. And this is where things might confuse people, because now you use up and down to move up and down, and you use left to duck, and yeah, it's fun. Fun to get used to for the first time, basically, and even when you play through the game a few times, it's still pretty annoying. Please drop the weapon I want. This is where the amazing weapon of amazingness might drop, so that's why I'm just gonna kill absolutely everything. And hope that I can show off the final weapon that I haven't shown off yet, except for that guy, because he's actually kind of awkward to kill. So I'm just gonna skip him. Yep. And I am actually gonna kill you. Kill. Is that it? No, this is just a stupid little rocket launcher again. Also jump all the way to the top there, because otherwise you will just fall down to your death, and that's kind of sad. Because falling down to your death is just not a nice way to go, really. If you do this quickly enough, you can get past this without getting hit, but I failed. I am a failure to humanity, but oh well. We'll just have to live with it. And I will live with it for the rest of my life. But watch out for these little spiky things and just make your way to the top. It's not too difficult if you are careful. These enemies are actually kind of annoying because they take so many shots to kill, but at least they're really slow. Because they're similar enemies in Mega Man 9 or 10 or whichever one it was. It's probably in every Mega Man game, really. But, yeah, these ones are nice and slow, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. And this is the part where you can't really push it from the left anymore. You do really need to use the boulder like this, so... I hope you got used to the mechanics, and then got used to this mechanic as well, the ladder of mechanicness. And one more new enemy to show off, which is this guy, which just kind of shoots plants. Oh man, give me that! Damn it. That is mean. That is a mean tease, game, because that is actually the weapon I want. And I'm not actually sure if I can get it anywhere else. I guess I might get it from these. The ladder mechanics are actually quite good in this game. They're not made up of... I can hold on to invisible platforms, but they're actually you hold on to the separate steps, so you can actually quite easily just go up and down one step, and that makes that previous area quite easy. And it looks like I won't be able to show out the last weapon, but basically it bounces little balls. I can probably actually just clip in a video here and it'll show off the weapon because I think I recorded it at one point. But it'll bounce little balls and it basically just kills everyone instantly, including the final boss. It is ridiculously powerful. But we fight Dark Clive, who is actually kind of annoying with this gun especially. So basically just be careful and shoot him repeatedly. If you can mash quickly enough, you can just take him down like that and he'll just die instantly, which is good. Which brings us to the final boss, which is Random Robot Cowboy Handman. And basically run in the opposite direction of the hand he's using to attack you with, and you should be okay. Watch out for this clapping attack, and that's pretty much all the attacks he gets, if I remember correctly. So usually he won't really attack you more than 3 times. Oh, there's this one. I forgot about that one. There you go. He did another attack I didn't even know about. And sometimes he only attacks once, so... Oh man, I didn't mash at all. And you can only hit him while his hand is still on the floor there, so that is kind of bad. But he's dead now, and he slowly crumbles downwards. And our hero Clive goes to the right and has saved the woman who has no name. Thank you, Clive. Kiss, and the end. And that was basically Gunman Clive. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I really like it, and I'll actually just point a link in the description where you can get it, because it's actually I just really like this game. Doesn't really have leaderboards or anything, but again, it's really cheap, and you know, if you like this kind of game, I would just recommend playing through it at one point because it's quite fun. Also, options. It has gamepad support, but it doesn't actually show any inputs for the gamepad, as far as I know, but the controls are pretty self-explanatory. But I did test it with a 360 controller. I don't know how well it works with a PlayStation 2 controller for the 3 people that still use those. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed so far, and I will see you next time where we play something else. Bye-bye.